Hey yo, what's going on? The Straight Up Busters
44.
episode 44?
Yes, 44.
44! Hey! We got R-Techz here. SD is back after a couple weeks of a hiatus. Jem is next to me as well. We have no Dingle today. He is watching footy and also dog sitting, so he's looking after my ex. Kudos to him. She is hard work, I'll tell you that much. But let's do some plugins. SD, what are you about?
I've got my own YouTube channel, which I haven't posted on for fucking yonks because it's been busy. I was part of the X profile. Try and keep that up to date, but I haven't. But there you go. That's me.
You're sad, Jem.
I am the host of Straight Up Warlords. We're recording that on Wednesday. I also have my own channel, Gem of the Straight Up Busters. I play Dawn of War. Did a double upload last week. Going to be uploading again tomorrow. We'll have some fun with that. We should plug for Dingle. Dingle Games is the thing. He posts up there. I don't know how recent his most recent thing is. He also runs the Facebook group, so go there. And he has a TikTok, very funny. Follow him there. Follow him in the street. Follow him home if you're a muscle mummy.
Right then, so why don't we get things underway? We've got 4 topics. We're going back to the very beginning stages of our podcast, just because why not? I mean, there is a deeper reason, but we won't bore the masses with it. First of all, then, we're going to start off with the bad parenting. Bad is in quotations because it's absolutely abysmal parenting. Parenting that should never be parenting, and she should have never been a parent herself.
I just want to interject here that
Yep.
can you really call it any form of parenting if you're not there to be a parent?
Well, you got it in one there, didn't you, Jen?
Yeah.
Alright, I'm going to get you two fine gentlemen to join me on my screen here, and then I'll read what's on the page. I'll just read the first part. So.
Is it going to be a case that...
I'll say yeah, just as a kind of future reference. I've got an idea of what other channels do, and what they do is they have they have essentially their voiceover whilst the video is being played.
Yeah,
obviously your screen. So yeah.
Yeah.
What, you're on about us doing it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We will probably do that for anything that we've got videos on, but yeah.
Cool.
Alright, cool. I'll just read this then. I won't bore you lot too much. See if I can actually say this name. Crystal Candelario, who was sentenced to life in prison for the death of her toddler, whom she left alone for more than a week while she went on vacation, blamed her mental problems for the decision to abandon her daughter. Candelario spoke with Noticias Telemundo on Wednesday from prison in Cleveland, Ohio, where she's serving her sentence for the death of her 16-month-old daughter, Jalen. Candelario's attorney said they're aiming for the court to take her mental state into account in a future appeal of her case. When asked how it's possible for a mother to abandon a 16-month-old baby in a house unattended for 10 days to go on a vacation, Candelario said the answer is a bit difficult for the rest of the world to understand, and in particular for the people who question and point out that I have committed a diabolical act, as was mentioned in court. Now, I'm just going to quickly show you the photo of this cute little toddler here who is no longer breathing. So let that sink in there. That person there, which sounds weird to call a toddler a person, but
I mean,
they are gone.
Yeah.
They are gone. Right there, they're no longer with us. All because of her. So let's start. What do we all think?
Mad. Didn't she have any friends? Any mother? To say, can you look after the kid for a few days?
Exactly.
Amen.
Exactly. That's what I said. You go on holiday for 10 days, and you either take your kid with you, which is generally the accepted way of doing things, or
common sense.
Yeah. Or if you absolutely need to go on holiday and you can't take the kid with you because it's like one of those like Warner holidays or whatever, you know, the ones that are like kid free. And you can't take your kid there because it was arranged by someone else or some shit like that. Then you get a family member or a friend to babysit for you during that period, or you don't go on the holiday.
Oh my God.
Simple as that.
Like what your parents do, Jem. They childmind and foster, don't they?
The fostering is a different thing, but they do. Well, they have looked after my brother's kids before.
There we go.
I've gone over to my step nephew's place before to check up on him when my brother and his wife have gone on holiday. I mean, when one of my brothers and his wife went on holiday, I was looking after his dog because, you know, they asked me if I could, and I did.
That's what Dingle's doing right now.
That's what Dingle's doing right now, yeah. If you cannot be there for something or someone who is dependent on you, then you get help. It's
I mean, I know it's not the same as a toddler, but imagine if Dingle just up and left.
Yeah.
And didn't stayed there for a day, and he thought, can't be bothered with this dog malarkey, and just left the dog for 10 days. You really think that dog's going to survive?
Nobody's going to survive for 10 days without food or water. I mean,
no one that's independent, not independent.
I mean,
as a parent myself, I cannot imagine myself leaving her. Because to me,
you're a normal human being.
My kid is my life now, and I couldn't imagine anything without her.
Yeah, I also going around and saying, "Oh, my mental health issues made it so that I needed to be away from a kid, and I didn't leave them with anybody." I'm calling bullshit. I know people with mental. I know people with mental health issues, and I'm just going to be honest with you. They do not. They are not incapable of talking to people and getting things sorted out. Like even with like postnatal depression, if that's what it is, it's still a case of, you know, she could just turn around and say, "Hey, mum, dad, mate, brother, sister, whatever," or even just, you know, try and find a, you know, service that will do it on, like, you know, childminding service that can do overnight stays or 10-day stays or whatever. Okay, with that last one you have to pay for it because you're someone else's time.
She could afford to go on bloody vacation.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I mean,
childcare.
That's disgraceful. The whole thing is a joke.
Yeah.
She's just a stupid cow, and she deserves life. To be honest, she shouldn't ever leave that prison. She should be. They should not feed her for a whole week. See how she likes it.
It'd be 10 days to feed. The
10 days.
The problem
Don't
is,
feed her for 10 days. She'll be grovelling at the end of it.
The problem is that in 10 days, a adult can survive 10 days without food.
Yeah, but you want her to survive. She's still got to do her punishment.
Yeah, exactly. You want her to survive, so she can suffer.
The main thing is that she would die after 3 days without water.
Oh yeah, give her water. Yeah, that's about it.
But a child didn't have water, did they?
Milk. Give her milk. Oh wait, no. Give her what she think is milk, and it's something else. I'm not saying what, but
I mean,
imagination is the rest.
What's going in my head is disgusting, mate. No.
I just want to throw this out here.
Would be punishment.
She can have water, and if she wants to eat, I'm sure there's plenty of women in there who can dedicate them their working parts to form protein for her.
Oh,
So
that's
apparently-
even worse than my thing.
that's
Bro.
it is a form of protein.
I mean, actually, when it comes to women's fluids, no, it's not. It's literally just a mixture of urine and mucus.
That is kinky. I mean, I'm sure it's some people's thing.
Fine somehow. I mean, if she's that hungry.
Mm. We'll move on from this. This is
That's just
but
grim.
I do think she. Do you know what I do? I do think it is something to do with a bad mental state, because I don't think, because a normal person wouldn't do that. But the problem isn't people having these mentalities. The issue is it's not, in my view, it's not being dealt with correctly, because SD said it in one of them. Something along the lines of mental issues of mental health. Fucking hell. Mental health is being treated. It's not being treated. It's being like encouraged, like it's some form of trend. Like everyone and anyone now has got ADHD. You know, I was actually diagnosed when I was 5, and dyspraxia as well. But you don't know. No one really knows what dyspraxia is, but
It's
like
a form of-
everyone has something these days. Everyone has to try and be unique. Like people have dealt with this since the beginning of time. Mental health isn't something that occurred in the 2000s, you know.
No.
And people dealt with it. People had to survive through wars, and they dealt with it. So some little dorky kid playing bloody Among Us saying he's got depression. Well, how about you go outside and touch some grass?
I mean,
Sorry.
touching grass doesn't always cure depression, but
No, but have a life.
yeah.
usually reinforcing like the
Yeah,
worst is-
sorry, I got a bit aggressive there, but yeah.
reassurance and good behaviour, if that makes any sense. It's the reason kids act out is because they don't get attention when they've got good behaviour, so they act out because they get more attention while they're doing something bad than they do if they do something good. So on the terms of mental health and bad behaviour or ADHD or whatever, it's seen as a mental illness rather than a child just trying to get attention from their parents. So when she blames her mental health on being ill or whatever and leaving her child, it's no excuse really, because it's like, well, surely you'd want your child to have attention because you didn't get it as you were younger.
Well,
So you'd want that to be a child. Really.
again, not all mental health issues are based on childhood issues. She might have had a very loving childhood, but still had mental health issues because of other things that may have happened. But that doesn't mean that mental health is a legitimate excuse for what she's done. She can't hide behind. She can't hide behind, oh, my head doesn't work properly.
She might have pled insanity because she knew exactly what she was getting.
Yeah.
And that's what her lawyer suggested to her. If you plead insane, you'll get a less of a sentence because they'll think you're nuts rather than an absolute C word.
Yeah, but they made a movie about that, and quite often being put into a mental health facility is worse than going to an actual prison, especially for people who are faking being insane, because quite often
They know what's going on around them.
They know what's going on around them, and they're being forced into a situation that they will not understand because they've decided to lie about their mental health situation. I can't remember the name of the movie. I think it's like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest or something like that. Where
I recognise that. I think I've seen that one.
Yeah, the guy claims to be insane. The court believes him. He gets sent to a mental health prison and ends up in a worse situation than if he had been in a normal prison, because had he gone to a normal prison, he would have been able to get out on good behaviour. Whereas you can't get out on good behaviour in a mental health facility because they've got to cure you. Now, Admittedly, that's a movie about the mental health facilities of the era. Like the one that's closed down, that's just down the road there from mine. And is now flats, by the way. But
haunting going on there. Definitely haunting.
I have a friend who's I have a friend who's looking into buying one of the flats there, so I might find out if it's haunted.
It's like random screaming or something.
Yeah. But then that might be one of the other residents just having very kinky sex. So.
Wow. Yeah.
Well, anyway, final thoughts on this one. For me, there's no excuse to leave your child behind.
Mm.
You're a parent now. You haven't got a choice. I mean, you could try carry on your independence, but at the same time, you got to make time for them. And as they get older, you'll only have to dedicate more of your time. So this is growing up, surprisingly, and if you don't like it, they don't have kids.
Yeah.
Amen. Jem?
Yeah, I completely agree with SD that, you know, if you're not going to look after the kid, then either get social services involved and get them to take the kid away, or don't have the kid in the first place. Don't make your child suffer just because you can't look after them.
I mean, there's a reason why there's condoms next to baby food.
Yeah.
Just saying.
But yeah, no, I'm in agreement with both of you. If you don't feel like you can look after yourself, you ain't going to be able to look after someone else, especially a toddler. And to leave them alone for that long is it's left such a distaste in my mouth. It is it's inhumane, really. We're meant to nurture, especially mothers. So it's just fuck her, really. You know, sorry for the language, but that's how it is. You know, hope she goes down and never leaves the jail. We'll go to the next one then. I've chosen the next one as the Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul fight.
Right.
Now I'm going to read this little shabam here. If we go to the lovely screen share again, there is.
Nope.
Or was it this one or was it another one? I don't think that was the bit. That was the one. I think it was that lot. Yeah, so I'll just read. Blah blah blah. We'll read the second part. So yeah, Jake Paul. If you don't know who that is, then good. Paul will get that shot now, facing an ex-heavyweight champion, 30 years in his senior, 57-year-old Tyson. Compared to Tyson, Paul has very little boxing experience, going 9 wins, 1 loss in his career with 6 knockouts. Tyson, meanwhile, went 50-6 with 2 non-contests and was the sport's heavyweight champion for 3 years. So I don't know how many years Jake Paul's been fighting. I think it is around that, isn't it? So in that time, Mike Tyson has been the best of the best. Just in that time. Like, you know, not topped by anyone.
Yeah.
However, age is a factor here, and his last professional fight took place in 2005. That's before we left school. Yeah. This guy had his last fight. That's mental.
It's almost 20 years ago.
Ultimately, this would be a spectacle one way or the other, and Fury has expressed his admiration for both. You've got to admire them both, and I wish the best of luck, Fury added. Tyson and Paul will fight on July the 23rd at AT&T Stadium. AT&T Stadium, home of the Dallas Cowboys. Now, this just makes me laugh. And we're not sponsored by Netflix, by the way. Get that out there.
Yeah.
And I think it's. I thought it was a ruse at first. I thought it was a joke. I thought it was something to get people talking, and then it would settle down. But there is a trailer, so I think it is going to happen. What do we reckon?
Yeah, well, I mean, everything I've seen about it, is said that it's going to be real. I personally believe that Tyson will walk the floor with Jake Paul. Not because, of Jake Paul being a particularly bad boxer. As you can see, he's won most of his fights, as they said. But it's the fact that Mike Tyson, we've seen his training videos. He's going to absolutely destroy him. And I personally believe that Jake Paul doesn't realise just what he's getting into. That being said, from what I've also heard about Jake Paul is that he does take the boxing seriously. So it's one of those things where if he does take Mike Tyson seriously and isn't hoping that his age will just make it a easy fight so he can just get the clout of I beat Mike Tyson, which at the moment it feels more like it's clout chasing rather than an actual legitimate fight, which is why I'm not really interested in the first place because it's Jake Paul and I don't care about the Paul brothers anyway. But
money,
it feels like it's clout chasing and then he's just doing it to get the money and to be able to turn around and be like, oh yeah, I beat Mike Tyson, or oh yeah, I fought Mike Tyson and survived, or some shit like that.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that there are some people out there who are going to turn around and be like, this is going to be a really big thing that we need to keep an eye on. So.
It's just going to be clear that Jake Paul's going to get fucking annihilated. I mean, yeah, he's 20 years younger, but at the same time, it's like
30, I think.
30, fucking hell. Okay,
I think he's 27.
So yeah, he's got age and size, but I think getting a right hook from Mike Tyson, I don't think there's a man on earth who could take that.
I mean,
have you seen his fights? He just destroys his opponents.
It's also
the ones that beat him. Fair play.
Hasn't Mike Tyson done time because someone tried to fight him outside and he almost killed them?
Yeah, he has.
Yeah.
I think he has.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I don't know. Let's Google it. I'm gonna go for Mike Tyson
the funny thing is, I think Jake Paul's bitten off more than he can chew, and we all know that Mike Tyson can chew on an ear. So that's what I'm saying.
Here we go.
There we go.
Not fighting as such. Trial and incarceration. Tyson was arrested in July 1991 for the rape of an 18-year-old Desiree, or whatever the fuck it is, Washington, in an Indianapolis hotel room.
Well, this took a turn.
Rape trial was a Marion County Superior Court, lasted from January 26th to February 10th, 1992. Oh, fucking hell, Jesus.
What? How has that never surfaced? Like, I have never once heard anything of the sort.
I thought
he got done for rape.
Yeah, I thought he got done for battering a person.
Battering someone, not battering someone's pussy.
Yeah.
From
leaving his baby battering someone's pussy.
Yeah. So found something from Nicky Swift. So I'm just reading the first line here. Mike Tyson claims to be arrested 40 times by the age of 12. Like, what the fuck?
Well,
jeez, I did like had quite a bad history.
Did he go down for it then?
Well, he was incarcerated for it, so I assume he did.
Yeah, I don't know how many years though.
Sheesh.
From the sounds of things, he left the prison in 1992.
6 years in prison and 4 years of probation, but was released in 1995.
Oh, 1995.
So he competed from 1985 to 2005.
With a brief stint in jail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that changes my opinion of him a little bit. Damn. I mean, I know that was a long time ago, but
So
I mean,
the
people
Sun,
can change.
From the Sun, the baddest man on the planet is set to return in the ring on Saturday, July 20th, to face YouTuber Jake Paul live on Netflix. So it seems like it is going ahead.
Yeah. I mean, again,
can't believe that. You threw me off, man. You really did. Even me and Jem's reaction was like, huh? You just saying rape. What?
To be fair, with the Sun saying that Jake Paul is just a YouTuber, that is a bit unfair. He does take his boxing seriously. I mean, to be fair, it is also an accurate description. He does make YouTube content, so he is a YouTuber. But at this point now, I would argue he's more boxer than YouTuber, because I don't think he's really on YouTube as much as his brother is anymore. Because obviously, it's both of the brothers run their channel, but I think he's more doing his own thing now. He's
like his podcast stuff, really.
Yeah. And from what I've heard, again, this is what I've heard. I don't know the person. I don't know Jake Paul personally, but I do have a little bit of respect for him to take him at his word when he says that he's come out from under his brother's shadow and is taking his boxing seriously. So there's that. Is it bad now that I want Jake Paul to win because of what I just heard about Mike Tyson?
Not at all. Yeah, everyone's got their own opinion.
Well, remember, Jake Paul's just a YouTuber, so, you know.
Yeah, Jake Paul's just a YouTuber, guys.
I do think... I mean, I think Mike Tyson will win, but it's not... It's 30 years gap. That needs to be taken into account. I don't think that's anything to scoff at.
Yeah. But then... It's also probably 30 years more experience as well as...
True, but then his last actual fight wasn't...
Well, 20 years ago, but...
Before we left bloody school.
Yeah, it was 20 years ago. But, at the same time...
Long time to not be in your element.
Yeah, but... Yeah, 20 years of doing actual boxing, where 3 years of that he was the top of the world. Is that 3 consecutive years as well, was it?
I can't remember.
So it's not.
I think so.
Yeah.
That's what I think it was going for.
Yeah. So it's not like, you know, he's a contentious person in the case of, you know, not being particularly good boxer or anything. It would definitely be a challenge, even with his advanced age in that. If not, you know, absolutely dominate. I mean, we all knew that WWE, WWF, whatever it was when whoever was younger, you know, that kind of wrestling, that was all staged. We all knew that going into it. So it's more fun to watch that because you know that they're not... 99% of the time they're not actually hurting each other. But boxers, they are straight up like always killing each other every night. So
the brutal ass sport. But any of it is any martial arts stuff. They're gonna get hurt.
Yeah, but again, it depends on the martial art. Like, you know, jiu-jitsu and judo and the ones that are all about taekwondo, they're all about grapples and throws and that kind of thing. You're not punching people, you're grappling and you're moving their body. And you end up with bruises and that, and end up in very uncomfortable situations. I've done a lot of martial art wrestling when I was younger because that was part of the grading system of the type of karate I was doing. But you weren't really hurting each other, especially in, like, you know, sparring matches and that. Like, you know, at Olympic level karate or judo or whatever, they're not going out of their way to fully hurt each other. They're just trying to get points. When you score points in that with like karate and that, it's all body shots. So,
Right, yeah.
Whilst you do wear like
Yeah.
you wear the head harness and that to keep your head safe, but you only score points when you hit people in the chest and body in that. So you're not, battering someone's brain around, which is what happens a lot in boxing and why a lot of boxers end up with sometimes
Brain
minor,
hemorrhage.
sometimes minor, but quite often major brain injuries.
It's true. Alright, okay. What do we think? Let's do a little final thoughts then, Jem. Carry on since you were on a little roll then.
Yeah. All right. So my final thoughts is that it'll be interesting to find out how this fight ends up. I'm not going to watch it because whilst Kat has now got a Netflix account for the flat, I'm still not interested in boxing, to be honest, or any of the people that are involved. But I'll check the news afterwards and see what happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, right. My money would be on Mike Tyson to win, but I kind of want Jake to win now.
You think Mike Tyson will win, but you want Jake Paul to win.
Yeah.
Alright, go on, SD.
Who I think would win? Got to be Jake Paul. He's got age on his side.
Ooh.
I'm glad he said the other end. I like this. Okay, come.
Because Mike Tyson, in his prime, would just fucking wipe the floor with Jake
Oh, no
Paul.
question. I don't think we have any debates about that.
But as he's 57 and he hasn't exactly, he's not all up here, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I think he might take a few more body shots, and he'll be lucky if he walks out of that ring alive. Not because Jake Paul batters him, simply because he might have a heart attack. I mean, unless he's eating greens and perfect protein.
I do have a quick question just to butt in. Does anybody know if there's like a certain age where, you've got to be forced to retire? Because 57, it seems quite old. Is it only because it's an exhibition they're letting it go?
So I don't think there is a particular age that you have to retire, but generally speaking, most retire before they're like 40 and that, just through injuries.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, Mike Tyson never really took a particularly bad beating in any of his fights because he was always the one dishing out the really bad beatings. That's not to say that he didn't take bad hits. I mean, as SD has said, he's not all there anymore. But when you look at how a lot of heavyweight champions in the past and even more recently who've dropped out, he's one of the ones that's still got most of their faculties left. So
That a point? Proceed, SD.
So yeah, on the age side of thing, he'll probably win. I mean, if Mike Tyson does win, I'll be very surprised.
Who do you want to win? Say it was a fair fight, and at the end of it, they said, SD, you got to choose a winner.
I mean, I will be watching it. I
You
don't know
will?
what time it'll be on, but I'll be
Okay.
watching it.
In this hypothetical, I don't know how, but SD, you're the only person who can make this decision. They're both equal on points. It's up to you.
Well, it really depends. Do you go with a legend, or do you go with some guy who has made quite a career change from YouTube to boxing?
That's what I'm asking.
He might make a
Wasn't
name for
your fault.
himself. I mean, in all possibility, he might actually be a good fighter.
I mean,
So it may be worth that maybe Jake Paul will win.
I mean, Jake Paul has won most of his fights that he's been in already, and he's done 11 fights and won 9. Was that, or 10 fights and he's won 9?
9 fights and lost 1 with 6 knockouts.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a possibility Jake Paul could be a great boxer if he carries on at it.
Yeah.
So, a legend towards a rising star.
The next one is about... I was going to say something offensive, but we'll just say large people.
Body positivity.
You couldn't say anti-white, could you? Because you had to remove that one.
Yeah, cheers, Esty. I didn't have to. I just preferred these topics. Right, so this is from the Daily Wire, Matt Walsh. He's really the only one that I go through his videos on. Everyone else is doing their fine, I guess. But he's the main one. And this is where I could only find it, because as you can see, it's fizzled out. So I have no idea what this person's TikTok is. So we're just going to listen to this. I think it's about 2 minutes long. It's not even that. A minute long?
Yeah, TikTok videos are usually only about a minute long.
Yeah, so unlucky
have...
that you two have got to suffer through this, and we'll talk about it afterwards.
Hey, bestie! You're wrong. I think it's time for another adult pre-K lesson. What do you think? All right, turn your listening ears on. Catch a bubble in your mouth. Good job. Okay, here's the thing. Having a preference is something like, I'm looking for a partner who likes kayaking, or wakes up early in the morning, or loves pizza. But when your preferences exclude an entire group of marginalized people, that's problematic. Okay, that's not nice. That's not a preference. If you lump all fat people in one group together as though they are not very different individuals, that's fatphobic. Just like lumping all black people in one group and saying, I don't like black people is racist. And lumping all disabled people in one group and saying, I don't think people in wheelchairs are hot is ableist. Do you understand what I'm saying?
There you are.
I mean,
I thought there was more.
I just want to clarify that she's one of those women who probably will then turn around and say, "Oh yeah, by the way, my boyfriend needs to be 6'4" and earning 6 figures." So you know,
yes,
you gotta say that your preference is
from the planet Cybertron. Have you seen that meme?
Oh, the Optimus Prime thing. Oh yeah, I've seen that.
I mean, fucking hell, I know from first-hand experience that fat chicks know how to suck dick.
I can vouch for that. He's not wrong. It's because they're used to eating a lot. They're used to using their mouth more than we are.
Oh my god. I can't believe that was actually said.
They're bad at cowgirl, though.
Online for everyone to hear. You said that out loud. That's on the internet now. That's never going away. Oh my god.
In all serious note, it's what Family Guy say. They're practice girls. That's what Family Guy says. So,
meaning what exactly?
Well, what does that mean?
Essentially, they're the ones you meet at college.
The ones you fool around with, but you never get with. Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, I had one. They just went fucking mental, and it was.
Yeah, but you two have such a great bond.
Fuck's sake.
Oh wait, hold on. Oh damn it! Oh no, you got my sample viewed. I'm not making that mistake.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, a man who must not be named did sleep with her. So.
Yeah.
No, we should name and shame.
A man who does not have a lot of money.
Yeah, but no, you're right. That she probably is the type to be like, well, I do need a man who's at least 6 foot, needs to be making whatever figures, needs to have a house, needs to have a car,
I would say lifting several figures.
Yeah, you're going to be lifting a lot more. You need a tow truck.
If he could bench fucking 120 kilos.
Needs to be driving.
He's a keeper.
Needs to be driving a Mercedes.
Mm.
Driving a pickup truck where she can fit in the back.
Yeah, she's never sat in the passenger seat. Need to go on 3 holidays a year.
But seriously though, she fucking deserves it for how disgusting she is. Not her looks. I think she has a pretty face, but her attitude, I don't like.
That attitude she showed right then.
You're a dumb man. That's where she thinks, and you should agree with my way of life. It's just like, well, to be fair, people like certain people, and if you don't like certain people, it's fine because having a preference is not bad.
Yeah.
It's like I like to have cereal in the morning. My preference is not to eat shit. Just saying. I'm not being shit phobic. I'm just saying I don't want to eat shit.
I would like to carry on with that, but say basically the same thing is that, you know, if people are attracted to different things, but you forcing your attractions on, forcing people to be attracted to you, if a guy did that, he would be called a rapist or chauvinist. You know, a chauvinist or, you know,
Texas pig.
Sexist pig, I believe, is one of the terms as well. Yes. You know, if a guy was telling you that you had to look a certain way, and you know you had to be a certain way around him, you would get, and you had to be attracted to certain people. That you would turn around and say that he's an incel or, you know, this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
But, you know,
he would be scolded. He would be ran into the ground.
So if he said, "Oh, she has to be 5'6", massive tits, but also have a brain on her shoulders,"
on her shoulders.
Well,
it
encumbers the whole thing, you know.
I've never heard it worded like that, but yeah.
The skull, you know, skin and whatnot, and whatever women have. But you know,
whatever.
Is that a tumour? Oh no, it's just my brain.
just the brain on top of her shoulders. Yeah.
But yeah, no, the thing that pissed me off the most about that video, and I want to show you guys, it's very patronising, and none of us nobody likes to be spoken like that. It's like she's trying to teach a class of bloody infants, you know, like, welcome to your lesson. Here's what you do. Here's what you say. Here's what you don't say.
She specifically said that it was a adult pre-K class, which means adult pre-kindergarten class. So she was literally talking to adults as if they were children, and so then everyone's. I get that she's probably going to have loads of people in her comments that are saying, "Oh yeah, preach, sister," or whatever.
Mm.
But she's also probably going to have a whole load of other people in the comments just going, "Shut your fucking mouth."
Yeah.
Or stuff another cake in there.
The reason people don't like women or certain types of women is their attitude.
Yes.
I mean, you could be hot, stunning, amazing, but if you have a bad attitude, fuck off.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still single, so you're right.
I haven't got time for a bad attitude. I'd rather you be... I want to be able to talk to you without you talking to me like I'm a piece of shit, or talking to me as if I'm stupid, or talking to me as if, I don't know...
Lesser than. It's all condescending talk, and it's despicable. You can't talk to people this way. The fact that it's celebrated is something else. You know, you're unhealthy. Someone at that size, you can't look at me and tell me you're healthy. Like, biologically, we're going to be attracted to a certain, you know, like a certain figure or whatever. If you're anorexic, you can be the other way around.
Yeah.
Like, I can't remember when it was. I think it was, I don't know when it was. It wasn't too long ago, and this girl was super skinny, and I just couldn't. I was just I couldn't. So I evaded the conversation. But at the end of the day, we do have our preferences. And what's funny is I'll say something that might come across as a bit wrong, but we don't really get the viewership to care. On the whole,
You are a chubby chaser.
on the
No. R-Techz doesn't care as long as it's got a pulse and is above the age of 18.
what? Oh yeah. He said 80, 80, and centers only. Anyway, so I was going to say, so a preference of mine, not really a preference, but on the whole, I'm not really attracted to Asian girls or Pakistani girls, or yeah, basically kind of sort of them two. They're like the main, ethnicities that I very rarely. I'm like, ooh, now does that make me racist? Yeah. No, of course it doesn't. So. And the same with someone of a certain weight. I wouldn't date someone of a certain weight. That's above and that's below. You know, it could be something as simple, and I know it sounds shallow, but it could be something as simple as one of us dating a girl, and their nose is a funny shape, or their ears are a funny shape, or they've got no eyebrows, right? Yes, some people could view that as like, oh, that's a bit too much. Why should you think like that? But it's just what you prefer. Like you'd rather not date. Like even when she says ableist, and she said people in a wheelchair are hot. Do you know what? I'm sure I've seen hot people in a wheelchair facially. That doesn't mean to say that I want to go out of my way to date someone who is disabled. You see what I mean? It's different if you're with them, and you know that's a whole another discussion.
Yeah.
But to me, it's a load of bollocks.
It's also the fact that she said, "Oh, if you're not attracted to black people, you're racist." That's not true whatsoever. If you're not attracted to black people, you're not attracted to black people. That's neither here nor there. Whether if the reason you're not attracted to black people is because you hate black people, then you are racist. But if you're not attracted to black people, but genuinely just respect black people, but just don't find them attractive, then you know it's a different story whatsoever. I get that we are three white guys talking about this and talking about race.
No.
But
what do we know?
what do we know? I mean, yeah.
I mean, it's not like we built 2/3 of the known world, and for some reason it's our fault that everything's bad.
I mean,
no.
There's the evil white man, the cisgendered evil straight man.
It's the evil white man who banned slavery before anyone else, apart from one tiny island nation, which I can't remember.
I did see a video on that the other day, and I can't remember either.
Actually stop
I
it
really don't know.
and police it.
I
mean, we've done it before America. We've done it before the Middle East. We were the first to obviously be anti-slavery. I mean, just knocking that out there. It's not part of the conversation, but just want to put that out there.
There was one.
I hate white bashing.
There was one country that hadn't stopped slavery until like the 1990s.
Woo!
That was Iran, wasn't it?
Might have been.
Yeah.
Yeah. Final thoughts, then.
So
Yes, there you go.
Oh, you're
first.
Jump first.
Jump first. Okay. So yeah, basically, she doesn't have a actual point and just wants to belittle people. So I don't give a shit about what she has to say. She has no authority over me.
Woo!
Yeah, my final thoughts is a case of, if you're a woman, it's okay to have preferences. But if you're a man and you have preferences, you're bad, chauvinist, bigot. It's just like, what do they call it? Double standards?
Yeah. Exactly that.
I mean, for Christ's sake, what if a really skinny woman was dating a really fat man? Is that okay? Is she allowed to?
She's allowed to, but
if a fat man didn't want to, it's not a fat man, but a skinny man didn't want to date a fat woman, is that bigot? Is that chauvinist?
Oh, apparently, yeah.
Perfect.
Fat phobic if
No,
skinny people don't
doesn't-
want to date fat people. But you know,
I mean, what if the fat man didn't want to date the skinny girl? What if he likes a bit of chub?
if he likes a bit of chub, then he should go for a bit of chub, eh? But Chubby doesn't want to go with Chubby. Chubby wants to go with Skinny.
But anyway, that's me finished.
Well, I just want to point on Gem's note. Of course, it's easy for her to belittle people in the size she is. Belittling everyone. Yeah, I'm with you, SD, on it. It's double standards is one of my pet peeves, and I know we end up coming back here, and that's why I talk about quite a bit, because just really hate it. I honestly just hate. Hate's a strong word, and it's what I mean. And all this kind of sort of stuff needs to stop. People, it's got nothing to do with race or gender at this point. At this point, I think it's people being narcissistic. But the world revolves around them. She's like, you know, I don't like the way people perceive me, so I'm now going to enforce how you see me.
Yeah.
I am not fat and ugly. I may be in Gem's eyes, but in my eyes, I'm fat and beautiful. And people think the more they tell themselves this, the more it's going to become true. You can't force stuff like this down people's. If she forced it, this ideology, we'll say, down men's throats, the way she stuffs food quite clearly down her throat, then I would say you're going to rule the world at some point. But she ain't. People ain't going to listen to it. Especially real, and I don't mean this harshly, but especially real men, tough, proper, not the softies. You know, people who have dignity. You know, why should we lower our standards because you feel insecure?
Star Wars Battlefront.
Right.
Put about as much effort into the game as they put into the words as well, guys. Anyway, here we are. These are the classics from way back 2004, 2005. Brilliant games. Pretty defining games of their time, really. They were way ahead of their time. Some amazing game modes. Galactic Conquest was probably everybody's favourite. It was great, absolutely great. It was a brilliant single player effort, but there was also you could play on the PC version online, because for 30 quid you want something like that. I mean, let's not forget that these games still work and are still on Steam. I actually own them on Steam and they still work. I could load up Star Wars Battlefront from 2004 now and work. It just works. So it just works. There is no reason whatsoever to buy the new games unless they were going to do something worthwhile, because it's 30 quid. So let's have a look at what they've done to the new games, the old games, and to re-release them for £30. They've made them worse, guys. Essentially, they've made them worse. The games, the old games, weighed in it, the pair of them, 12 gig. That's how much storage, which was a lot back then. These, 60 gig. I can't say that with a straight face. 60 gig, guys. And what have they done? Pretty much nothing, really. They've upscaled the textures, which is why, without compressing them, by the way, which is why this is, you know, what the word on the street is, which is why it's 60 gig. But let's have a look at the actual gameplay. I'm not going to talk about the absolute mess of the launch, where they released 3 servers for 10,000 people. Yeah, that was a good move. People couldn't get in. Even now, you're still waiting around. It's still very buggy. But for me, the big problem is that there's no reason to buy this if you own the originals, unless you want to play multiplayer, of course, because the original servers are all dead now. So if you want to play this multiplayer, yeah, I guess that is a reason. But there's a few things you should know if you're going to do that. It's floaty. There's something off with the actual mouse controls in this. It doesn't feel right. Also, we've had a console port. This is a console port of a PC game. Well, it wasn't specifically a PC game when it came out, but they've used the console version to port it to the PC version. You can see with the UI. So we've actually got the console version of this, which is a problem because we can't invert the controls of the flight. So basically, it's inverted, which means that if you're using your mouse and you pull your mouse down, your spaceship will fly up. If you push the mouse forward, your spaceship will fly down. Now, some say that that's the proper way that it should be, but that's irrelevant. A lot of people, and I would wager the majority of people, have it so when you push your mouse up, the spaceship goes up. And you can't change that. You can't even go and edit in any file or anything like that to change it. It doesn't have it. So you're screwed. You're screwed. I've just been constantly crashing my X-Wing into the ground because I'm like, oh yeah, I want to climb. Oh shit, no, that's the wrong way. Bang, dead. It's fucked up. It's like I say, it is literally worse. They've done so many that I can't get over how lazy this is and how much of a cash grab that this feels like. You've got the games there, they're already on Steam, they work on Steam. What you have to do, upscale it, fine, bring it up to date, make sure the controls are slick, get your servers online. I mean, that was the fucking brief. That was all they had to do, and they fucked up. They fucked up at every stage because it looks blurry on some of the textures when you compare them, the way they've upscaled it. The servers are fucking awful, and you can't invert your flight on the actual game. And there's no Galactic Conquest Online mode, which I think they should have added if at all possible. That would have been fab. In fact, that was the main thing that I was hoping that it had, and it just doesn't. So anyway, it's very, very... And 30 quid for it. Guys, this could have been a patch. This literally could have been a patch for the original game. There's so much of a nothing burger here in terms of content. How dare they charge £30 for this? 30, I can't get my head around the fact that this is... For what? Anyway, let's get on to some good bits from this. It's nice to see the full service again on a game that I loved. It really is. But like I say, it is floaty. I won't play it again. I'm done with it now. It's just not... It doesn't have the feel of the original. Like you said, you were going to get onto the good bits. Sorry, forget that. Single player, Galactic Conquest, it just runs better. But then again, when you get in a spaceship, it's all inverted. So that's actually what. And as well as the lack of inverting, you can't select some of the options to upgrade your planets because it requires a controller, and it's because it's from the console port. So if you're using your mouse and keyboard, you have to plug a controller in to actually select certain things in Galactic.
Yeah.
That's cool. We've had enough of that.
Yeah.
So, one of my most beloved games, as you both know, Star Wars Battlefront 1, Star Wars Battlefront 2. I absolutely adored these games. Yeah, they're one of my. They're fun. They're just, especially when we used to do split screen and that. And it is a disservice to the Star Wars gaming community by releasing these for 30 quid.
That's Disney for you.
Yeah, 30 quid for two 12-year-old games, and all they've done is upscaled a little bit. And there was something, I saw a video, you know, the Hoth, the snowy planet. There's parts where the textures, they've got like black holes on the hills, and it looks awful. So I'll just say the few notes I've got that bugged me. The fact that it has to be inverse flight now, you can't change it. That's 101 gaming there. The console UI, so for us PC gamers, gonna have to cope with that if that bothers you. There was only 3 servers on launch day.
Yeah.
That's less than 1,000 people.
Yeah.
What's that? I think it's about 300 and something.
So
64
it depends on how many games can be played on each server. But
64 players per server.
If it's 64 players per server, then that's what? 190 odd people. And
there you go.
What were they expecting? Only 190 people were going to buy the game. Why would they sell the game at that point if there only 190 people are going to buy the game?
I mean, there's even some games that you can have your own PC as the server, and if you set up your own game and invite your mates in, it's just your mates on your server. You
can still do that. Still do that. Yeah. And then what they've added, funnily enough, split screen on PC. whoever the hell wants to do that.
I mean,
There is one other thing that I'll touch on specifically. I've noted down. I found out recently. There was both of you. I know Jem will know both these characters. SD might not. Kit Fisto and Asajj Ventress, one Sith, one Jedi. They were only heroes/villains in the Xbox version, as far as I know. They got imported and whatever they have to do within a modding community to go on this classic collection. Now, this modder went to X, I think, Twitter, whatever, and complained. And actually, they noticed that it was his mod this Aspire were using, and they didn't credit him.
Yeah. That was the thing before the podcast. That was the thing I was going to say.
Scummy, that is, and that actually makes me angry.
Yeah.
It really does.
well, that's Disney for you.
That's EA for you. The EA that did that.
Yeah, it's a
Well,
Aspire. Mostly, they're the ones that are
Star
publishing
Wars,
it.
don't they? They own LucasArts.
Yeah, but it was EA that released it.
We're going to get a cease and desist letter, aren't we?
We're going to get shot in our beds.
From Disney.
Hope not.
To be fair, that's what South Park did
Yeah.
with that's what they did with what is it? Enter the Pandaverse.
Yeah, whatever.
We're making proper adult cartoon references to that, aren't we? First it's Family Guy, now it's South Park.
Yeah.
It's what we grow up with. I mean,
Oh, I never really watched.
what
I
is
never
it?
really watched.
What is it? Tom McDonald said, "We grew up watching South Park. How we offended." I mean,
Well,
South
well,
Park,
we're not.
the bullshit
Yeah.
part.
Yeah. Anyway.
They wrecked everything.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
all one.
I've got a double bit Disney bashing because they're very good at doing it themselves.
I'm going to be honest. It feels like one
Their
big.
shares and sales.
It feels like one big prank.
Yeah.
It feels like we're being trolled. That's how I feel, and it's bad.
Was it take this
30
really, really good game and then fucking ruin it?
Yeah, it shouldn't even. Yeah, they've destroyed the legacy of it. That they one, they shouldn't have sold it for 30 quid. Piss off. And two, they should have put a lot more effort in it and should have really upscaled and made the. They could have made that game look pucker. There's modders that have made the original games look better than what that classic collection game looked like. I'm not pulling your leg or twisting your arm. Like, that's legit. You can search it up. And to anyone watching, I would advise you not to buy it. I haven't played it, fair enough. I've seen enough reviews and gameplay
Wouldn't buy it.
to know. Yeah, don't. Wait on sale if you really want to. But
You don't even have to do that.
they've only just started patching. They've
So-
only just started patching. A
I
week
did-
after.
So I did actually put up the screenshot that I showed you earlier on the screen earlier, and I was working it out in my head. But I've written it down on a piece of paper here as well. So
Mathematician.
if you buy the two original games separately,
Yeah.
rather than buying this classic collection, that is
Mhm.
in English British pounds, £17. Where's this other £13 coming from?
Yeah.
You can also spend another £10, so you've got £27. It's actually like £27.70 or something like that. And you can get the other two Battlefront games, the EA ones, the DICE ones, which, just so you know, like the Battlefront 2, yeah, it was absolutely abysmal when that came out because of all of the microtransactions and everything. You can get that. That's got players and everything on it, and you can enjoy that and play that with modern graphics and everything.
Mm.
And that's only a £5. It's not even a £5, it's like £4.50. It's not even on sale, it's just £4.50. And
That's ridiculous.
they're expecting us to pay 30 quid for two games that are
30 quid for not even the newer ones.
yeah,
30 quid for the older ones.
yeah. For the older ones.
And now you're telling me, you're informing us we can buy all 4 of them for less than this shite. That is... Wow.
I just want to throw this out there.
Wow.
The original games that came on PlayStation 2, Xbox, and PC, they were complete games.
Yes.
They weren't buggy. I mean, modern day equivalent, if you had a complete game sold to the market that had no bugs, I guarantee your sales would be through the roof. But if, say for instance, if I go on the developer side of things, if I see a Bethesda with a Fallout series or Elder Scrolls series, you expect the games to be buggy. But coming from EA, who don't generally release buggy games, where LucasArts wasn't bought by a certain company, which I'm not going to carry on bashing, released complete non-buggy games where they're really good, I think this is a massive mistake by their franchise, because you can't do that sort of thing in the modern day anymore. I mean, you can get away with it in certain sense. I mean, Bethesda, for instance, they've been buggy since day one, and it's up to the modding communities to fix it.
Which
and
is
to be
wrong.
fair, I wouldn't be surprised if Bethesda kind of liked that as they released the creation kit and said, "Go fucking nuts."
Yeah, but
they had the nerve to charge for it.
EA, simply because their reputation is that step ahead. And like R-Techz said, it is just a cash grab. They got it that you're on game.
It is.
Let's import it from a console.
Yep.
It's just like, no, you don't import it from a console. If you're releasing it to console, yes. But if it's a PC game as well, you do it for PC. Then you get it for PC gamers and you get it for console gamers.
It's such a beloved franchise, and all this crap they ran it, they've ruined it.
Not seeing dollar signs. I mean, yeah, you won't get as much profit, but in the long run, you will get more profit because they actually fucking work.
Yeah.
Yeah, and people can play on them, not just a few hundred, couple hundred.
Point out loud, Call of Duty servers must have been almost 10 years now, where Black Ops came out.
Damn.
How many servers they had? I think they had over 100.
Yeah, I thought so.
EA owned, I believe.
Yep, that's how you do
it. They're definitely EA owned.
Activision, wasn't it?
No, Activision are their own company. They were their own company. Now they're owned by Microsoft.
I got that wrong. It's not EA. It's Activision.
At the same time, you've had Battlefield at the same time as Call of Duty, and again, as you were saying, that had hundreds of servers.
It just seems developers of bygone eras are better than today's developers. It's just like, where have all the good guys gone who can actually fucking do their job?
And actually care about the end product.
Yeah.
We pay for a service, we expect a certain level. If we don't get that certain level, you can go fuck yourself because I'm not paying. And that's
I've just spoken to all the people that pre-ordered.
Yeah, me too.
It's like,
Do you know what the most hilarious thing is? I'll just say this one last thing on. They haven't even got crossplay.
I mean, come on.
In 2024.
Yeah.
Consoles are pretty much PCs these days. I mean, how hard is it? Just upgrade it. Upgrade your software.
Just because
it's an
old game.
I heard that news and I went, "Oh, I might hold off."
Just because it's an old game doesn't mean you can't update it with new features, especially if you're going to charge, check notes, more than 3 times the amount of the version is, or check notes, almost twice the amount that buying both of them together is. People are going to want value for money. Why are you charging twice as much and giving them less?
It's either that or they're appealing to stupid people. Or actually, hang on, no. Maybe people who are reliving their childhood.
Yeah, but even people that even people
probably moved out.
Even people who are reliving their childhood would want a functional version of their childhood game. You know, if you're buying it, if you're buying it on,
I'll pull out my PS2 from where I store it. I'll plug it into my TV through an adapter, and I'll play it that way. Because I ain't buying that game.
Exactly. Here's the thing. Like I said, if you're going to release a remaster or whatever of an old game, people want it to be functional. People want to have the options to do things like changing the controls for flying. That's such a minor thing. That was in the original game. I'm pretty.
You know what's hilarious? Wait, I have a follow up on that. I'll make you laugh, Gem and SD. So now, only the other day, a couple of days ago, they fixed that, but it wasn't the case. The feature wasn't in. It was just hidden.
Yeah, that's the thing. Because I was about to say, I'm pretty sure that was in the console version of the game. They just hid it.
Yeah, it's a joke. How these people earn their paychecks, I have no idea. They're fucking wage thieves.
Yeah, they are, basically.
I mean, for Christ's sake, if I owned a games company and I had a classic, I'd be like, right, tell you what, I'm going to do the best to live up to my original fan group and go, I'm going to release a game to you guys from your childhood that lives up to your childhood and then some.
Yeah.
The expectation was better.
How much was Battlefront 2 on release?
Well, which one? The original classic one or the most recent one?
Original.
The original, probably about 30 quid.
Yeah.
I mean,
Around about 30 quid, yeah.
Yeah.
So that was a fully working game for 20 to 30 quid.
Yeah.
And now they're releasing a game that's 30 quid but doesn't fucking work.
Yeah.
As I was going to say,
And again,
What it
Should be hire the old guys, and they'll be like, "Fucking, I'm gonna spank one off to this fucking game because it was my fucking legacy."
No, and not just that, but also
They'll probably do it for free.
what they've done is literally just copy and paste files from another from the original game, and then just went, okay, we're going to take all the textures out and replace them with new ones that are higher quality, and then release that.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm sorry, but
simultaneously fuck up other textures.
yeah. And I'm completely sorry for everyone who worked on those textures, but they are not worth the difference of 13 quid.
I'd rather have 2005 graphics over new graphics when the gameplay is on point. Just take the old game, re-release it with new servers.
Yeah.
That would have been easier, because then at least the old game would have fucking worked.
It should have been better. That was the hype. What it should have been at the very least is the same. And the fact that they've made it worse is it's unacceptable, and gamers need to stand up and boycott it, because you shouldn't be able to get away with this. And as SD said, these people are getting paid a lot more than we are.
Yeah.
To be fair, we haven't bought the game, so we can't have a complete opinion on it, which sucks.
I will put my hand up.
I don't think so. I'm glad I didn't bloody buy it.
I will put my hands up. I do have more job security than most video game developers.
Yeah, because there's no company wants to do your job.
Yeah, but well, it is the thing about the video game development and a lot of software development is that once the project is done, they cut the project to a skeleton crew who can just keep it working until they decide they're going to make a new game. And so
what they need
a lot of those people, if there isn't another project in the pipeline, a lot of those people lose their jobs.
What these programmers need to do is have that 10% in there, where if they go, the game just fails. be the best at your job and make sure nobody else can do your job.
I tell you,
I mean, it sounds like, you know, a bit arsehole to the company, but at the same time, the company doesn't give a shit about you, so why the fuck should you give a fuck about the company? I mean, I've had a lot of jobs where the company's like, you're going to work these hours, so I just work these hours for the pay I'm given. And now I've got a job that actually gives a fuck. I want to work that bit extra because they actually care.
right. But I'll tell you, the only good things that have come out of it, I think there's about 4 maps imported from, I might say Left 4 Dead, imported from Star Wars Battlefront 1 into Star Wars Battlefront 2. And that's all the praise I got for it.
Yeah.
Without playing it, you're right.
Four maps that weren't. 4 maps that were in one that you weren't
Both
able to
the
play into.
Both the Yavins and both the Ren bars. Sorry, Jack.
But yeah, as I've said to everyone, if you only want to play those 2 games, just get the originals, and then okay, you're gonna get into servers with people who cheat all the time. But I mean, you're not going to be able to play on the servers anyway because there's only 3 of them. So you might as well just play the single players. You might as well only pay £17.
Yeah.
If you want to play online with people, you might as well just spend £4.50 on the most recent Battlefront and play online with those servers with real people. And say £4.50, you're saving £25.50.
Yeah,
I don't know who at EA thought that this was going to be a good idea to release it in the state that they released it in. If they actually if they actually put any level of thought into this and said, all right, we need you to take these old games, update them, and make them so that people will be able to play them online. Everyone's been asking for us to bring these games back, so we want you to bring them back, and we want to bring them back big. But also, quality of life, cross-play, and having the Galactic Conquest mode online.
I tend to disagree with most people on that though, because that'd be a bit excruciating. Imagine how long those games would take, and you'd have to have breaks and.
Yeah, but I mean,
to really thought about it, that wouldn't be an easy feat to keep going.
I do agree.
Throw a stick in there. Leave the classics alone.
Too late.
Leave the classics alone.
Well, they haven't.
You can do anything. Do Battlefront 3. So at least then, as it's a new game, they're allowed to fuck up. Because obviously they're millennials and Gen Zs. So, I mean, it's just a case of... At least then you can say Battlefront 1 and 2 were amazing, but Battlefront 3 was shit. You still protected legacy because you've had 1 and 2 that were brilliant. Now that you've re-released 1 and 2, you've kind of made the whole legacy a pile of shit, and no one's going to buy it.
Yeah.
I mean, releasing Battlefront 3 probably would have been the better idea out of the 2.
Taking the files that were already made for Battlefront 3 and finishing Battlefront 3 would have been the better idea, yeah. I do want to revisit what Ryan was, what R-Techz was saying. What R-Techz was saying about the whole Galactic Conquest multiplayer online. What they could have done was have it so that it was a sort of like save file system. So, you could start a game. And then,
2 hours now.
Yeah, go on, let's wrap it up.
Hour and a half, actually.
Oh yeah, we didn't start till bus. Yeah.
As I was saying before, I was rudely interrupted by SD.
Yeah.
Timekeeping.
Yeah, but you got it wrong.
True.
We're supposed to start at 7. Screw you.
Anyway, also, you have nothing to say about this. Part of the reason we started so late was you.
You had your offspring in the view.
Oh, I didn't get my baby into this.
No, but that's what it would have been.
If we started at 7, your offspring would have been on the screen, and you would have had to have pissed off so that you could put them to bed.
You know what YouTube are like. Yeah. Treading on eggshells. Anyway, Jem.
As I was saying, you can do it as a save file system so that you and whoever else you're playing with would then have a save file so that you could then restart that game at the point that you left it. Obviously, you wouldn't be able to do that in the middle of a battle, but you know, if like when you're in the tactics screen before the battles, then yeah, you could save it then and then be like, all right, guys, we're gonna call it there, or whatever.
Yeah.
That would have been a way to do it. Basically, just do the same thing as the actual game had, which was that. So,
I tell you what, they should have. They should have had at the very least the stories, the co-op, the campaign co-op. That's what they should have had. If they weren't going to do anything else, they had to do that.
That would have been brilliant.
And there's already mods to do that on the other ones. For no extra charge.
Exactly.
No DLCs.
Yeah. So you could spend £8.50 and download a mod, and you can have a better experience than paying 30 quid.
Hang on.
The only thing that 30 quid is getting you is 4 maps on Battlefront 2 that you couldn't play before.
And Kit Fisto and
Kit Fisto and Asajj Venturers, which also
there is one more thing. One more thing, actually. Mine would be quick. They've actually I do tell a lie. My apologies. There's one more thing.
Okay.
You can play the heroes versus villains on any map. You used to only be able to play it on Mos Eisley.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to throw it just to reinforce Jem's point. Game developers do it for money. Modders do it for reputation, because if you produce a fucking good mod, people give you money.
Yeah.
If you do one good mod, you're guaranteed to do another decent mod, who's another decent mod, and carry on getting money for it. So people say, this guy's really good at his job, we're going to credit him for it. Or this games company's released a shit game, they're not going to get credit for it, and they're not going to get sales for it. So it's a case of, I'll lean over to reputation over, I'm a big scary games company who just want you to buy their new games at £70 each. It's like, I'm not paying 70 quid for a game unless I get a hard copy, a massive book with it, a fucking map book, all the Gucci fucking shit that used to come with, PS2 games, GTA fucking San Andreas, massive map you can put on your wall and shit, control menus, gameplay and shit like that. Tell you to do a physical copy of the disc, an actual disc case. Brilliant! It's fucking amazing. You pay that money. I mean, back in 2005, it was you get all that for the money, and now it's just a case of you own Battlefront.
Yeah, I remember.
I own ones and zeros.
You don't even own the game either.
I don't own a fucking disc case. I don't own a book. I don't own a map. Oh, but you can buy the Legendary Edition for an extra 50 quid.
Yeah.
What? I don't want to pay extra. I used to get that all in one go. I don't want to pay an extra 50 quid. Just give it to me.
Yeah. it's not just that, but also like I remember back in the day, like paying 70 quid for a game meant that you got the Legendary Edition, where you got things like the Master Chief helmet box for your Halo, or you got, you know, a figurine or something. Now they're expecting you to pay 70 quid for a game that you then also technically don't own, because if they at any point decide, oh, we're not going to support this game anymore, we're going to shut down all the servers and that, you can't play that game anymore. Especially,
this is the thing. I know you.
I was about to say that backwards compatibility. If your operating system, say, it worked on Windows XP, you'd have to get a patch from a modder for that game to work on your Windows 11.
Yeah.
Now in, I don't know, 10, I'll say probably a bit closer than now, probably 5 years time, 10 years time, we're going to have Windows 15 or whatever. And that Windows 15 won't support Windows 11 games.
Yeah.
And it's just like, well, I've spent 70 quid on something that's not going to work anymore. What's the fucking point?
Yeah.
Or at least then with a hard copy, you can go, right, I have this hard copy. Tell you what, I've got an old Windows XP disc that I throw in my machine that I've still got from, you know, years ago that has 2 gigs of RAM or whatever. I'm going to go play the game. Or I've got a console that I've still got from 2005. I'll just chuck in the disc, fucking plug it in TV, happy days, here we go. You can't do that anymore these days.
No.
And you think of how much memory all that was back then as well. Like this new classic collection, the 2 games is 60 bloody gig.
I mean, I've got the space because I have the money to put the hard drive.
You might have the space, mate, but you couldn't make this up.
At the same time, it's a case of, well, something that started at, say, 7 gig, 7 to 10 gig.
I think it's about 12.
And up to 60 gig with a few extras. I mean, for Christ's sake, most mods are like... Most texture mods are what, maybe 2 to 5 gig.
Yeah.
And they transform the entire game and it looks fucking mental.
That's because they're compressed as well. That's part of the thing.
They're actually finished. Yeah.
That's one of the things, is that the reason that the mods are so small is because the modders know how to use compression.
And the modders know how to optimize games so you can get the best refresh rate. It's almost like they're doing it for, well, not money, because they don't get paid, but they also want reputation, which is worth more. Which is what I believe. Reputation's worth more. I mean, hell, some of these guys probably just go into the Fallout series here, probably worked for Bethesda and went, you finished this project, you fired me, and now I'm going to absolutely stab you in the back by making the game that I developed better than what you're selling now. And I'll get all the credit for it, which I deserve, to be fair. Isn't that right?
I mean, you're not wrong.
Right, okay, let's do final thoughts.
And whatnot. And...
Yeah, because we're now at 1 hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah, timekeeping. So we do final thoughts then.
My childhood's now destroyed by these 2 games. They released classics because they basically shit all over them. And if I want to play Battlefront, I'll get my PS2, plug it in, chuck the disc in. Well, chuck the disc in, but, you know, place it as you would, because I want to look after it. Because I want to show a kid one day, this is what games used to be like. You used to actually get a physical fucking disc and play it that way. I wouldn't buy it. I wouldn't buy 30 quid's worth of bullshit.
No.
Unless I was doing it and recording it to prove a point, but, you know, I have a kid, so I don't have the cash spare, so that's where I'm going to leave it.
Got the calculation on this envelope right here. If you want to buy the first 2 games in a state that they actually work, that's £17. If you want to buy the entire Battlefront series so far, that's £25.70. If you want to waste money, buy the collection. Thank you. That has been my TED Talk.
Star Wars Battlefront 1, more than 2, has a special place in my heart, and really did love that game. I Lord knows how many hours I put into that. I remember Aiden coming round, playing at split screen. Me and you, SD. Probably me and you, Jem. I don't directly remember doing it.
I don't think you and I played together on it, but I know that we both have played it.
His name again.
Me and Mr. Money, and we were actually in cahoots. You were playing it.
Say his name again.
Why?
Say it again.
SD, before you do the thing, you are also muted on the sound.
Yeah, you're muted for me as well. Hey.
Oh, you can't.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's just a bunch of cool faces. Yeah, Anyway, I just want to thank Aspire for destroying it. Quite frankly, even if a week from now, a month from now, a year from now, even tomorrow, I searched up and the news was we've got everything patched. There is online Galactic Conquest. There is online co-op. The controls were sorted. The UIs were where they're meant to be. And what was the other thing? It's crossplay. They did all these things. Even the graphics. The graphics were how they should be. That wouldn't, in my view, would not be enough to save it. You can't. The damage has been done, and it's very disheartening when a game that you grew up with gets just demolished. It's a sad sight. But we've been the Straight Up Busters, season 4, episode 44, 444. Look at that. Yeah. We've had my man Jem, we've had my boy SD, myself R-Techz, Dingle. We'll catch you next week. For everyone else, see you later.